As a preliminary matter, this is Brooke Merigan, Chair. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Angus McLeod.
Here.
Mr. Mickey Rowland.
Here.
Lucy Dillon.
Here.
All right. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Holly Backus.
Present.
All right. And no anticipated speakers. Good afternoon. This open meeting of the Nantucket Historic Structures Advisory Board is being conducted remotely consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. For this meeting, the Historic Structures Advisory Board is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the town's website identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Meeting materials. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. Public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I, Brooke Merigan, the chair, notes otherwise. Meeting business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, Brooke Merigan, the chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. After members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their names and be acknowledged by and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. All right. Any objections to taking Linda Williams' application first?
Nope.
Nope.
I think she was here.
No, you don't have, Brooke, you don't have to, because I'm speaking on both Stone Alleys anyway. So just go through your regular agenda.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. So that brings, that's first item is what? That's.
Hey, Brooke,
Yes.
why don't we do Karen's? She's here for.
Oh, Karen Alentz. Okay. What numbers? Oh, that's number 2. So that'd be 3, 4.
5 New Lane.
And Mr. Chair, you should probably have a motion to approve the agenda.
Oh, great idea. Anybody want to make a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion.
All right. Thank you, Angus. Any seconds? Lucy Dillon seconds that motion. All right.
Where are we? Top solar. Here we go. Five New Lane. All right. Floor is yours, Karen.
Okay, maybe you can scroll down a little further and they can see where the solar is going. The owner is very sensitive to not having the panel shown at all in historic district, but he's also concerned to do his part environmentally for the island. So we have the panels on the rear dormer, which can't be seen, but I don't know if you can see my pointer. And then also on, there's a little jet gable one-story thing in the back, and we have them on both sides of that. Clearly not visible. That's it.
And this is a 1940s bungalow for the advisory board. So cute.
How high are they going to sit up?
They typically sit 4 to 5 inches above the roof.
Thank you. And they're charcoal gray?
No, the panels are black.
Okay.
Did we lose Brooke?
Yeah, he wanted to know if we all got disconnected. I'd said it was just him, so I think he's probably trying to reconnect.
All right. So I'll just say a couple things. Karen, can you, I'm generally okay with this because I feel like the one on the dormer is probably too shallow to see from the road. And certainly the one probably on the back of that addition, which would be, I don't know, west or north maybe? North probably. The one I'm worried about is the south facing slope over the French doors on that little wing. Can you assure me that that's really not visible from New Lane? Is that, how does that look? If you really look for it, can you see it even in the winter time?
If you scroll down or up, I can't remember, there's several photos from the road. Not this, but there's some, no, maybe it's farther up, a couple of panels up. Next one down. This is it right here. So you can see the view from the road, and how the trees cover the visibility of that little back gable roof.
But they're kind of leafed out. How does this look in the winter time? You know, are we looking through those trees, which I'm kind of guessing we are?
I imagine you are, yeah. One of the issues here is that south, obviously for solar, is critical for this whole thing to work. With just having the north and the east, it's not really a viable system.
Huh. Well, my feeling is that as I kind of said, I'm fine with the east and the north. I think that the south should be viewed for visibility because in the wintertime, it could be rather visible. And
The owner is happy to landscape. Since it's a low roof, he could easily block complete visibility, completely block the visibility with some kind of evergreen. And so he's open to that if that was required.
well, that's a good suggestion. Maybe you should bring that to the actual HTC board with some options to do that.
I will.
This is Angus. I have the same, pretty much the same comments as Mickey. I'm fine with the dormer and the north side of that back gable. My concern is the south side of the back gable. So, yeah, I mean, as long as it couldn't be seen, I don't have an issue with it.
Lucy?
I agree with both of you. I mean, this is a really visible corner, and we're going to be seeing a lot more applications for solar panels. So I think that we have to be very careful that we don't set a precedent that we're going to regret later.
Brooke just said he's cycling his computer. So we should probably move on until we hear back from him.
Yeah, let's keep going. Holly, have you heard enough from us on this application? All right.
Yes.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we going to go to the old business?
Yeah, let's go right up to Stone Alley. Might as well
All right.
start with the addition.
Okay.
You want to wait for Brooke? He's been on this every other time.
I'd like to.
You can go
You
to me
guys-
if you want. I don't care. You can go down to 16 Pleasant if you want.
What else have we got?
Or you just keep on going down the list and then go back to 2.
How about, yeah, let's go down to number 3, which is 3 Lucretia Mott.
This is a mini split. You'll probably see more of these as well.
Angus, what are your thoughts on this one?
I'll let you know in a second.
Lucy?
Holly, can you scroll down farther? I think that I looked at this. Even though it's not visible from the street, I recommend some sort of screening from it for it.
Yeah, I could go either way on that. It does seem to be rather not visible from the street, but I like Lucy's suggestion. Why not screen it anyway?
Yeah, I mean, the homeowner doesn't want to look at it either.
True. Why not? Cover that meter at the same time.
Exactly.
What about the view from School Street between houses?
Good point.
Yeah, I sort of wondered about that. I have no idea. So I think Lucy's suggestion still holds in that case.
Yeah, screening, I think is, let's pretend it is visible.
Yep.
Yeah, especially now that everything's leafed out. I mean, it's,
Mhm.
you know, those of us who live here year round, we don't want to look at it either.
Okay. Moving on. Uh, 17 Main.
So Linda's here for this one. Oh, where'd you all go?
Right there.
Technology here. I don't see I don't see Brooke yet, so hopefully he's. So 17 Main, formerly Nobby Shop.
Brooke says that he was cycling the router, but that didn't work, and he thinks that it's external. He says none of his other bookmarks are working.
You can
Does he have
call
any-
in. There is a call-in number.
Tell them to call in.
Yeah, there's a phone call you can call in.
Or
on the
you can
agenda.
click the agenda. Right on the agenda, the link is there. That works.
These are the historic pictures of it. I was able to come up with quite a few,
Not surprised.
even obliquely.
Wow.
And there's the old commercial building behind it before it became the Opera House.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of
Oh.
weird. That Opera House filled in that
there.
whole gap in between those two buildings.
Linda, I can't remember when they rebuilt this not terribly long ago. Did they tear this building down, or is it still the original structure?
No, it's a structure that was built after the 1846 fire. It was built, I think, in 1850.
Okay, so the big construction job they did was the basement and the rear
Yeah,
addition.
see this? And then they expanded the building out towards over where the Opera House used to be.
Yep.
Before they built the addition on the building on the right that sort of backed up to it.
Okay.
There's the
Is that Linda?
fountain before it was disappeared.
Is that Linda? Who is that?
No, that's not me.
No, not you, Linda Loring.
Oh, maybe.
Could be, yeah.
That's a cool picture.
Now they're wanting black trim.
No,
I mean, black sash.
no.
No, okay.
It's
Thought I
dark-
read black.
No, that was on the very first one that I withdrew because he shouldn't have put it in that way.
Okay.
So it's going to be that dark forest green, which is across the street from us and actually on the South Water Street side, whereas parts of the front and parts of the South Water Street side are chrome green. So when somebody painted it, they sort of a slapdash routine on it. And they actually painted it darker than the taupe color was darker than it was originally. Nobody knows why they did that either, because the South Water Street side is different. So what we'd like to do is just paint it all one color and do the dark forest green on the windows and fix the ones down below so they match everything else. And the color on I believe there is a piece somewhere.
And I looked at those color chips, and they look really dark green, almost black.
It is dark green. It's the same as the one across the street on the looms.
It is the same as the looms?
Yeah, see, this is hard. They don't reproduce when I scan them. You can see this one, complicite gray, just completely whited out. It's not white. It's a gray color. If you look at the actual chips that are clipped to the application pages, which none of you can see, the real colors are on the application pages with the real chips. The dark green that looks black now is more like the one right on top of it. But when you try to copy it, it just doesn't copy well.
All right. We used to, there used to be something called Essex green, which was a perfectly acceptable color.
Essex green is the one on top of it. The one on the South Water Street side pictures, which I have new ones, are definitely the dark green, which is now they call it dark forest green. And the one on the looms is the same color, the dark forest green.
Well, personally, I'd rather see this be the sort of traditional Essex green, because the darker one is getting close to black, which I'm not keen on. So can they change it to forest green?
You want to go to Essex green?
I mean, Essex green, yeah.
Well, they really didn't want to. That was my first suggestion. They wanted the same green that was across the street and on several other buildings in town, which is the dark forest green.
Well, I'll still stick with my Essex, but it's just my suggestion.
Okay.
And proposing all windows to SDL.
Yeah, that's
On the second and third floors where it's so high up you can't tell. We're not doing anything with the first floor. They're what they are. And we wanted to change the windows going up. It's taking a beating because it's such a high profile with very little screening, especially on the South Water Street side. We wanted to get the insulation value as well as the ease of maintenance value on the second and third floors. They're so high up there that you won't be able to tell what they are because they all have storms on them as well.
So let's start with how old are these windows?
Oh, they've been replaced over time. I think when they did the last renovation in there, a lot of them are Brosco, and we know how long those last, not long. So we were going to go to a Marvin Nantucket profile, which has double glaze and a storm.
So first, I think it's important to establish that these are not old windows. And if you can just show some evidence of that, I think that would be helpful.
Okay, they're not Nebraska. Let's put
Yeah,
it that way.
I believe you, but I think we should have some documentation of that.
Okay.
And then whether we want to put SDLs downtown, which is sort of a new concept.
Well, they're downtown already, whether you know it or not, but they're all up on the second and third floors.
And you're putting storm windows on top of these?
That was the goal.
I mean, that's sort of the
Apartments come with storm windows.
benefit of having an SDL is that you don't necessarily need a storm.
Well, they didn't want to put the Green Mountains on there, which are the most expensive window on the planet. Marvin's are in between those and Norwoods. Norwoods come with wood storms.
But they don't have to put the storms on. Those are a separate purchase usually.
All right, I'll have that conversation with them, but right now they're storms.
Which kind of takes away the advantage of having the SDL.
Yeah, I know I did that on the cliff too.
Anybody else want to comment on this? Angus, you want to weigh in? Or Lucy?
Yes, I'd like to say that I'd like to write in the notes that I don't want to see the paint color darker than what the looms have. As I said before, the application says, where is it? The wording is black forest green.
That's the color. That's what they call it anyway.
Well, I just want to make sure it's not almost black.
It is
Because
dark.
we
Very-
can't see from the paint chip. Also, after the window, the schedule of the existing windows is submitted, I think we should see this back.
So what do you want? Why do you want it back?
So we can make a determination of about what the windows are now.
Oh, so you want the windows, the window schedule on what they
Right.
are.
And photographs, please.
Just an update on Brooke. He's tried, like he just doesn't have a connection.
Then tell him to call in on that number that's on the, oh, he can't even see the number on the agenda, can he? Yeah, he can't even see the number on the agenda.
Can Holly,
be
can
calling
you send him a number?
Did you get his email?
No, not if he can't get a connection.
Angus, can you text it to him?
Yeah.
I was just going to do that.
Yeah,
Thank
text
you.
him the phone number that's like on the agenda for
Yeah.
calling.
Thank you, Angus. Those are all the windows.
Lucy, are you all right if it's the same color as what's on the Looms building and a couple of other buildings on Main Street?
Oh, I wouldn't even, whoops. I wouldn't mind it even if it was a little bit different. I don't want everything on Main Street to be the same color. I just don't, I don't want to see too much that looks like black.
Angus, are you ready to comment?
I agree with everything that you've said about true divided, I mean, the simulated divided light. That the benefit is that you don't have the storm. There are windows that I know that are out in Sconset in the, you know, in what would be the old part where they are insulated, but then have storms, and that's a maintenance thing.
Yeah,
So they're,
especially the
I like the advantage of the not being a storm, but if we're concerned about simulated divided lights being visible in town, I think a storm, you know, really makes it challenging to decipher that.
Okay,
But, you know, if that's a condition of having it there, we need to be assured that they will be there.
Yep.
And as far as the green goes, that is an awful photograph.
Yeah.
of the paint colors because the Essex green is darker than that, and that deep forest can be a really nice dark green. I'm going to venture to say that the green at like on the louvers and the doors at the Unitarian Church are black forest green. But I'm with previous comments. We don't want it to look black.
Okay.
So
What I'd like you to do before I come back with the window schedule of the other windows that are in there is to drive by Main Street, take a look at Ralph Lauren, and then take a look at the South Water Street side and some of the other buildings on Main Street. You can see the color there. It'll give you a better idea of what it looks like. And go into the office because the chips are actually clipped to the application page.
So regarding the SDLs, Linda, can you give us more information on the profile of the Marvin SDL mutton size? Because these tend to vary by manufacturer.
It does, except that Marvin, after a lot of pressure some years ago, I actually went over there and some of us went out to wherever they're coming from, Michigan, Wisconsin or something. They actually created a Nantucket profile, which is the narrower raised profile. So it's not going to be that thick, wide, flat profile because we're just not going to have it. It's actually called the Nantucket profile.
Okay.
So it should be fine. We've used these many times.
I agree with Mickey. I'd like to see a profile of them too. We should know this for future reference anyway.
Yeah, if you can find that somewhere, Linda, and reference it and put it right in the application so we know that's what we're getting.
Yeah, because I believe there is a profile somewhere. I've seen it in the office.
Well, it doesn't, on the window schedule, I don't see where it says anything to that effect. So we want to see that written down somewhere.
Okay. I think I wrote it down on the application page. It's a Nantucket profile.
Yeah, you did.
Yep.
Yeah, right there.
Yep. I wrote it on the application page because we're not going to accept anything else other than that.
Okay, but could you still try to find that
Yep.
profile and
I'll try to
show us
find the
what it is?
profile.
All right. All right, anybody else?
No, just a reminder that we would like to see this back.
Yep,
Thank
It's
you.
noted.
great, thanks.
Meanwhile,
Alright.
take a ride around Main Street. You'll see it. And if you want, go into the office and take a look at the actual chips because they're clipped to the application page. Zoom does not help that stuff.
No, it doesn't.
So,
This is just your standard brick parking area. Planning board approved it a couple of weeks ago, last week maybe.
Gonna ask you that.
Yeah,
what, traffic
there's
safety?
the wall. That's the wall that's next door to us. We're gonna do the same wall. It's the same height because we have the same grade change that they do.
Linda, have you been to traffic safety yet?
No, they don't have to go to traffic safety. It goes right to the DPW after you and after planning board. All right, right there. The one that I just showed you with the same wall and the same brick is to the right of the telephone pole. We're to the left of the telephone pole.
There's a nice aerial photograph of the backyard at Great Point Properties. This property's on the market.
Melissa,
That's
do you have
the
any
aerial.
concerns? Lucy,
Yes?
do you have any concerns?
No, but I think they're going to be changing the hardscaping in their backyard.
Well, she put that hardscaping in. Originally, there was no pretty yard. It was pretty rough before she bought it. All that, the fancier stuff is beyond where the parking area is. It's one of the smaller parking areas. It's not 20 feet deep. It's only 17 feet deep. the same depth as the one next to us to the right.
Angus?
I don't have any concerns.
I don't either. I'm okay with this.
Cool.
Well, I do have one question. That, in what side is the brick wall is only going, retaining wall is only going in the back? It's not going on the sides?
As it creeps forward, it gets flat. So it's going to be the 18 inches max like the one next door, and then it creeps down to almost nothing except for a small, maybe 6 inches on the right side.
How's that going to work with those back steps?
Well, they'll just have to work around it. There's a brick wall around those back steps anyway, so it's a slightly different elevation from this. This will be a slightly lower than that as it goes up the hill. Paul Santos has worked all that out.
Okay.
And here's the only question is the one next to us is a herringbone. That one to the right is herringbone. I assume you guys would prefer soldier course.
Yeah, just straight bond, running bond.
Yeah, running
Running
bond.
bond.
Yeah.
That's what I have down.
Running bond perpendicular, parallel with the street?
No, probably perpendicular to the street. That would set it
Not
apart
the
from the
sidewalk?
sidewalk. Yeah, it would set it apart from the sidewalk.
So parallel to the street.
Parallel to the street, but perpendicular to the sidewalk.
Right. Yep.
I do have another question. What's going to happen to the fencing?
It'll cut where they need to cut it.
And then will it turn a corner into the driveway, or is it just going to stop?
It'll just stop. The way you can actually open the door. We're going to try to stay away from the walkway on the left. It's going to be tight, but they'll get it in there. It's just that Paul's got to stake it.
Holly, could you back it up so we could see the plot plan to see how much of that fence is going to be left on the right-hand side, please?
Yep. Probably 6 feet. One section.
Linda, has Paul done a more detailed plan of this?
He is. It's not downloaded.
Maybe we should be looking at the actual plan. This is,
He did this. We did this in his office
I know,
to
but
get to the planning board.
if he's doing an actual plan that'll show the height of retaining walls and grade areas.
He gave me all that. I just don't have it I don't know how to share and download stuff. I'll look for it while you're talking about something else.
If you have it, Linda, and you could email it to me so I can at least have it for tonight.
Let me see if I can get it. Email. Okay.
Depending on how tonight's agenda goes.
Yeah, that could be a long meeting tonight.
Yeah, I'm banking on 5 hours.
I'm just thinking that little bit of fence between the neighbor's driveway and this driveway is going to be kind of weird.
Here you go. That's what they have next door. All right, Holly, I'm gonna send this to you.
Okay. Yep.
Forward. That's not uncommon on Pleasant Street for everybody else. There you go. All right, you should have it. There you're up there.
Aha. Come on.
I can't do anything online because it's processing it to the full thing, which is like until it goes through.
There it is.
But she did suggest you call the customer service number on the back of the phone.
Delayed reaction.
I just did it, and it's better if you do it.
Technology can be helpful at
You
times.
can also like.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got it 12 inches now after he looked at the grade change.
I still am confused. Still confused how you started having issues.
And the sidewalk will be level.
I had it home.
I still don't like those stairs in that wall.
Yeah, but that's not before us, and they are there, and I don't know, I have nothing to do with that, no plan to deal with it. They'll step up and they'll step up into them. That's all I can figure out.
Well, by moving the fence away, opening up that space, we're making that stair more visible.
Well, no, the fence is staying on the left, which is where the walkway is now.
And the gate.
Yep. And every single property on the street, all the way up to 5 Corners, has parking except for this one. Go figure.
Yeah, I think the fence is going to be sort of a different. I'm not sure how that's going to work. They might want to rethink that fence and gate, but I'm generally okay with the driveway.
We can round the end of the fence, but that wasn't part of the program at the moment.
The neighbor has a real slight return going in. Something like that.
It's such a small parking space because we've made one of the smaller ones, not one of the big full size. We've made it smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So I hesitate to put anything that's going to block somebody getting out of a car.
Well, they're only going back like a foot or something, just to wrap it in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you want us to put a little, maybe a 2-foot section return.
Yeah, I think something rather than just ending it on a post.
I think that's a good suggestion. The neighbor, it looks like it's a little more than covering the post. You know, it's like, it looks like 9 inches or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Not that that's the answer, but something other than just, you know, seeing
Stop.
a section profile of the fence.
Remember, it's going to terminate into a tiny little wall too. Or, you know, the brick. All right, we can do a 1 or 2 foot return.
Linda, are they going to utilize the existing granite curb for the rounding?
They're going to try. There's no rounded pieces there.
Right. Okay.
So I think they probably have to get the rounded pieces from the DPW. If they're going to have a flare, they'll have the rounded flare at the street with the distressed granite and not that white stuff.
Because what's there right now is, I'm just curious on the age of it. They can reuse it. That'd be better than not.
Yeah, see, they were given the curved pieces here to the right. That's the kind of pieces. See, this piece right here is new, where it says Google. That's
Yep.
not the same piece as going left
Right.
or going right. So we'd have to get those rounded pieces from Neil or from the DPW.
Any pieces that are used that are existing would have to go back to DPW anyways, but
Yep.
just trying
So
to
they get
be,
them back.
yeah, we're just trying to be, cognizant of the existing granite. If it can be reused, great. If not, obviously go back to DPW.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd go one step further and reuse the brick if they can.
Well, we're not touching that brick.
On the sidewalk?
Yep. It's not going to dip. If it starts to get dislodged, we'll replace it. The brick to the left is that orange brick that somebody put in. The brick to the right is that orange brick, but the brick right in the middle between the telephone pole and the gate, that's the old brick. We're not planning on taking that anywhere because they're going to have to flare up from the street, go straight across the sidewalk like on Martin's Lane and go straight into the parking area. You can't dip that sidewalk. It may get leveled out, but it's going to have to be the same brick.
That's good to reuse the brick. They're going to slope it down to the pavement level on those things.
It'll slope at that pavement level.
So
It
they're
would
gonna-
match what's shown to the side where it says neighbors, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they lift up the brick, I'm saying I recommend putting that brick back down.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I get really tired of seeing sidewalks. They rip up the bricks, they throw them in a pile, damage them all. And then you've got a whole new space of brand new brick that don't fit in.
And the part to the left is orange, which is that soft stuff we can't stand.
And Lucy, that's why we're trying to work with DPW, and that's why this past ATM, I had proposed the changes and why people are before you in the HDC for driveways before they go to the DPW within the old historic districts. So.
Yep.
Oh, good, great, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
One last comment, Linda, at least for me, is when they because they're going to have to slope from pavement up to the sidewalk level. Just make sure that whatever's left of the sidewalk meets all the ADA requirements in terms of
Yes,
slope.
that's why I tried to keep it level. If I have to slope it like the guy to the right, it's a very gentle slope.
Okay.
And then the driveway goes uphill.
Yep. All right.
I say that to everybody when they're cutting these driveways.
Yep.
Wasn't there for 28 years for nothing, Mickey.
All right, moving on. Okay, what's next?
Did you want to make a motion on this one?
Now Holly just records our comments.
Okay, so the comments that I have are do a slight return on the fence so it doesn't just terminate. And reuse the sidewalk brick, gentle slope, distress granite on the flares. Does that pretty much get it? And running bond parallel to the street.
Good.
Okay.
All right. Bulger Lane. Yeah.
Pergola. Oh, Folger's up there. So it's this one right here, right there.
Is this the one with the fence that you see from Coffin Park? No,
No.
no, it's not.
This is at the very dead end.
Lucy?
I have not looked at it carefully, but right off from the quick review, I don't have a problem with it.
Angus?
I don't have an issue with it either.
Nor do I. I'm fine with it.
Well, that's good. All right. No concerns.
Wait, we could give some more things for Holly to write down.
Thanks. All right, next one, 26 Westchester. I'm scrolling down thinking you guys can see it. Sorry. Aha. So here's the hardscaping to the pool that you all saw, which I know has not been back to the HDC. Remember this long lot, this historic structure.
All right, so
Well-
I've got a couple thoughts on this one. Personally, this is going to be very visible from the lily pond, as I think we've mentioned this before. And my feeling about looking at this landscape design is that to me, it's much too formal for this country location.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to see a lot less stone, a lot more sort of natural slope and terracing rather than dividing up everything into stone walls and levels and steps. I think it's much too formal. Go ahead, Lucy.
I agree with Mickey. When I first looked at this, I was amazed that they've got this huge amount of holly going around. You know, I guess it's a security and privacy, but I'm sorry, this is Lily Pond area, and they should be a very natural landscape using New England natives or appropriate planting. And I agree with Mickey, it's much too formal.
I agree with the comments so far.
I mean, that American holly hedge is going to be a bright green wall with prickers. And hollies get huge.
I don't know if we have any comment on the actual vegetation, but I know what you're saying. So yeah, I would just like to see them tone down the design and less hardscape materials, less stone and steps, or just a more natural feel. Anybody else?
Just that the area of their lot that they've decided to develop this way is sloped, so something's got to give. It's got to be some sort of retaining, but it does feel quite manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question too. Is a 10-foot by 15-foot pool technically a spa,
Pool.
or is it a pool?
All the pool. I'm not sure what there's a distinction, but
There's a gallonage and a size in the bylaw. I think this is a little bit larger than that.
So I would question that.
are we in the old historic district?
Yeah.
Are pools allowed?
Well, then it's got to be the maximum allowed within the old historic district. It has to be the maximum size allowed. So it is allowed if it's within those specs under the zoning bylaw. They played it right up to the edge.
I saw that,
They must be.
but he said,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think that's, I think it's just because they double charged you.
All right.
They need to do that. 'Cause I think this must be a real racket. They must have-
You
Moving
want
on.
to see this one back too?
Yeah. Yep.
Mickey, Brooke is trying to dial in. I gave him the number, the password, and the meeting number. He's going to try to dial in by phone.
Good. Okay.
So
Right.
this one really, I just, it's a contemporary structure, and I don't think you all will have a concern, nor will the HGC, to be honest with you. They're wanting to eliminate this entry and turn it into a window. They already have an entry in the center.
Mhm.
Secondary mass. It's not a historic structure. They still have that entry off the road. So this is off the side.
Lucy?
Well, I always think entries usually are on your largest mass, unless it's a barn.
Which it is. It's being retained here.
Oh,
The
okay.
elevation that they're wanting to remove, it's actually right here underneath that American
Oh,
flag.
okay. All right, I got you.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it'd be a 3-bay on that gable end.
Then I'm okay.
I guess.
Honestly, I think it's an improvement. It's awkward to have an entry door that is just completely obliterated by the hedge. It seems to make sense.
I agree. I'm fine with it.
Perfect. Oh, looks like we have Brooke, possibly. Is that you, Brooke? I don't know who that is. I think it's Brooke.
Yes, hello.
Hey, it's Brooke.
Yes,
Just in
Welcome
time.
back.
yeah, thanks. This is weird.
This one's 1 Jefferson.
1 Jefferson.
Door change, another door change.
Holly, what's the age of this building?
That one I didn't look up ahead of time, sorry.
It wasn't in Lancaster.
I think it's I'm not seeing it off for it.
The site plan calls it a proposed residence. So is it,
I think it's contemporary. I think this is fairly new.
I thought it was
Is-
brand new.
Yeah.
1 Jefferson.
Yeah, this is new. I kind of remember this going through. Anybody have any thoughts on this one?
Says 2018 on the GIS.
I thought.
Oh, yes, okay, I know this one. That's brand new.
Yeah.
So they just want to change the front door?
Is this a configuration or color change?
Door
It's a
change.
configuration.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of
They want
comments.
side lights.
There's the previous approved.
So I'll start. My feeling is, I just have 2 thoughts on this one. I don't think the full side lights are appropriate. I think it's too much glass. I think I'd rather see them. I mean, I actually, in a way, like a little bit of fenestration around the door. It seems a little too simple without it. But I think it should be more like a panel below some side lights. And my other comment is, when you look at the photographs of this door hood, the brackets are not built the way they were proposed. The vertical legs to the bracket are not there. And I think looking at the photograph, Holly, can you try to scroll through one of the photographs?
Yep.
You'll see that they just end at the building wall.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them put those back as originally planned, or at least build them as they were designed to be built. Anybody else? And I guess, again, thoughts?
I agree. Yeah, it looks unfinished without the verticals. And I agree. I think maybe side lights with the panels that are approximately the same height as the door panels and the rest be light.
Mhm.
Right now they feel kind of stretched out long, so that might actually help.
Lucy?
I'm not crazy about it. Plus the stoop would have to be enlarged too.
Yeah, you're right.
I think it just makes too much door for that wall.
I don't know. Something about that just does not scream Nantucket to me. But
No,
anyway.
it doesn't.
You know, the door is pretty underwhelming as it is. It feels like it needs some either more detail around the framing. And definitely the stoop is really sort of like an afterthought. Looks like it could be done better.
Would you say the stoop, Mickey?
The stoop looks like an afterthought. They have,
Yeah.
you know, there's nothing there really.
So
There you go.
go for it.
Yeah, I agree with Lucy. I think that adding side lights will make it feel way too crowded, just given the proximity of the adjacent windows. I agree with Mickey that they could have dressed up the door surround a little bit, and I think that would, help the entry a lot. But the ribbon lights on each side, that's just not appropriate at all in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Too modern, too contemporary, too whatever. It's just not right.
I'd agree with Brooke on that.
If you look at the floor plan, you look through those lights and you're all the way back to the back of the house. I mean, it's completely open. You wonder why they would even want that.
All right.
Yep.
It's a tight squeeze, but you know, there was in the original plans and in these, they're showing a stoop, and there just isn't one. It's like the sidewalk just got continued, not the sidewalk, but the curb just got, you know, continued to the door.
Yeah, they just plopped down some concrete.
They may have had to do a mud sill there, which is why it's at grade.
Mm-hmm. They can still do better. They can enhance that.
Yeah.
Still.
Right, but we're talking about the door, so.
Okay.
Good.
I'm ready to move on. Who's in charge?
You are now, aren't you?
Oh, well, hell, then we're done. Let's move on.
Can we
Right.
adjourn?
Nope. All right, Mr. Chair, we have old business of 2 Stone Alley and new business of 2 Stone Alley.
All right.
Let's save the best for last.
Which one's that?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Sorry.
All right, so all the others are done. 3 Lucretia Mott.
Yes,
Yep, you missed the show.
missed it all.
Darn.
All right. Bear with me here. And PowerPoint.
I believe both Tori and I are here. I'm on the opposition. Tori's representing.
Thank you.
All right, here's the addition.
All right. So are we looking at the addition first or the landscaping?
The addition first.
Okay.
I would imagine that the addition is going to determine how relevant the landscaping is.
Yes, it is.
You know, I'm going to go off so I can go stretch my back.
All right.
Okay, do you guys want me to say anything or do you want to review first?
Yeah, let's take a look at all of this.
Okay.
I just want to mention Sarah Alger here for a neighbor as well.
Thank you, Sarah.
I know Jay Maroney was on earlier. I don't know if he's still on. He's on our site also.
I'm still on, Linda. I've been
Okay.
enjoying every minute.
Hi, Jay. All right, so those are the elevations. I'll go back to the. Okay.
And Holly, did you get the PowerPoint presentation?
I have it right. Yep, hold on.
Okay.
Oh, looky here. It does work. You guys can see that?
I can't, but that's all right.
Well, I know you can. Can everybody else see the
I'll
PowerPoint?
divine it.
right.
We're looking at the architectural plans. Is that what you're presenting us?
Nope, so you guys can't see that right now?
Maybe not.
All right, hold on. This is the first time I've put up a PowerPoint on Zoom. I've done everything else known to man, so hold on a second. See it now?
There you go.
All right, cool. Let me do this. Slideshow. Haha. There?
Yep.
Okay. Floor is yours.
You guys want me to go ahead?
Yep.
I assume that says yes. So basically, we took the feedback from the HDC meeting in January and have, with the PowerPoint, really broken it down to show you exactly what we've done. We've done extensive research about all the surrounding properties, which a lot of has been brought up along the way these last couple of years. But we just wanted to make it real clear, real simple, and have it all in one spot for you guys to have to refer to. So if we want to go slide by slide, you can see how we addressed the notes from January of the HDC meeting and our presentation as to how we compare to the neighborhood. This is kind of the general biggest things that came out of the meeting minutes from January. And with the exception of the second floor, doors and windows on the second floor lining up with the covered porch, we've been able to address everything.
See that.
Victoria, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
So I see revision clouds on the plans.
Yep.
Are these actual revisions to a previous certificate, or are we still looking at this as if it were the addition as it was proposed?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Holly, but I don't believe we have a certificate at all. So it's just revisions to the previous drawings. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, they never received approval.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we're still looking at this as the whole addition
Correct.
to the building. Okay. So the revision clouds are potentially confusing.
Well, they are showing the areas that we did revise.
Since January?
Since January,
okay.
yeah. Yes.
All right.
So
All
we've
right.
that's the existing.
Anybody want to comment?
We're not on the drawings yet, Brooke. They're doing the PowerPoint,
Oh, okay. Sorry. Thanks.
which you don't have.
If you,
I do not.
oh, do you want
Let
me
me
to
know when it's over.
You want me to email it to you, Brooke?
He can't
Holly?
I can't get anything.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so in this map, you can see how maximizing everyone that surrounds Two Stone Alley is utilizing their lots as just a general visual. Here you can see these are estimated numbers. In some cases, I pulled, plot plans out of the building files and stuff, as-built surveys and such. Our dimensions are the only ones that we have an exact measurement for, but you can see how we're literally at the back end of the addition, the farthest off stone alley of everyone on the alley. Roof heights, right in line with everyone around us, under a third of them. Length, ground coverage. So these just really show a history of how far off Stone Alley everything is. Our thoughts here is when you're looking from Orange Street, you're barely going to see this addition. You'll see the continuous same Stone Alley view uninterrupted until you get over 100 feet down the alley. This view won't change either, going up the alley of the clock tower and such. You can see how massive 1 and 3 Stone Alley used to be. 10 Orange takes up 3/4 of the alley, coming down with the walls and the fences on top. The vegetation here is very thick, and as you see, runs the whole lot line, which is what we've proposed as well and have existing right now. These photos really show you how fenestrated all of the east elevations are, up and down, as viewed from Union Street. All of them very similar or more than what we're proposing. Okay. So here we've reduced the sunroom by 2 more windows as suggested. We've cleaned up all the trim, all the headers. We've brought the ridge height down as low as we possibly can on that new dormer closest to Union Street, farthest east. There's a 3-foot 2-inch difference between the main mass existing and the proposed gable on the highest point of the secondary mass. Cleaned up all the trim details, matched the existing exactly on the corner boards around the sun porch. Much less intrusive to the grade here. There's a little bit of grading right underneath the secondary mass. But other than that, we're working with the existing grade on everything we're doing. Dormers to the edge match the existing. And then you can see the distances to the alley itself here is where I had those dimensions on the PowerPoint. The farthest point east being 12 feet, 6 inches away from the stone alley itself. And I'm welcome to answer any questions you guys have. I think the biggest thing for us this time is that we've moved as far off Stone Alley to be in line with all the others whom abut Stone Alley. And given the topography of the site, we've limited safe flat lawn space on the south side for their grandchildren. And they really don't want to lose any more by moving the home any further south.
All right, are we ready to talk about this?
When do you want to hear the opposition, Brooke?
All right, go ahead.
I'll keep it short and save the big ones for tonight. Not really anything has changed. There's a little thing here, a little thing here, a little thing here. It will be 3 years come December that we have been on this. They did withdraw it over a year ago and resubmit right away with the same drawings they ended up with almost at the end of the first withdrawal. And we've had enough. I think everybody's had enough. But that will make that particular pitch of denying due to lack of paying attention to the concerns expressed for 3 years. It's still coming all the way down the hill. It's still obliterating that side of the structure that's visible, clearly visible from Union Street between two houses right up the hill. I don't believe the grade is correct on the way it's drawn. I think there's more significant grade changes being made as it steps down the hill right on top of the houses that are down on Union Street. It's going to go down the entire length of Stone Alley on the south side of Stone Alley. It's still objectionable the way it's designed with that flat roofed element sticking way out of the ground with third floor, what amounts to a third floor dormer, perfectly visible from Union Street. You can see it it's on top of the wall below it. They're going to have, I think the landscape plan shouldn't even be discussed. It's all predicated on this design getting approved. There are multiple stone walls now, perfectly visible from Union Street. We are still not in favor of this at all. We do appreciate that the west elevation towards Orange Street is remaining relatively intact, except that the sunroom is coming off that corner. And just so you know, the sunroom is part of the original structure when she redid the structure. This is not a reconstructed barn. This is the original barn that never left the property. I've documented it with a 100-page report, which is unfortunately can't be put up here, which is in the HDC file if anybody wants to look at it. Holly has looked at it. All the HDC members have their own copies. Tori has a copy as well. I gave them a copy. And it's very well detailed. Every piece of this structure and its history and who did it is meticulously detailed. And this is not just your run-of-the-mill whaling captain structure. There's an entire back history to this structure. But that sunroom, when it became not the barn, when Eliza Codd's father gave it to her, she's the one who did the renovation to it to make it into a house. It was a barn. And she added the sunroom over 100 years ago, or about 100 years ago, and all the other stuff you see on the outside to make it into a dwelling. The gable on the west side, the projecting gable on the second floor on the west side was something that she did quite often. You can see the same thing over on towards the town on, I believe it's Gardner Court. She did that building as well. Same types of things on that building that you see on this, only the building is 4 times the size of this. So we're opposed to this. It hasn't changed enough. They haven't gone south. They do have enough yard to go south and still have yard because it's owned by the people that are fronting on Orange Street. So it's sort of not a standalone. They own both properties. I'm not interested in what messes with their view or not. we're interested in preserving a rather unique structure with a unique history and a unique architecture. I'm sure Sarah and Jay have something to add, but that's all I'm going to add for now. But this is not going anywhere near what all the comments have been for almost 3 years.
Okay, Sarah, would you like to speak? Sarah?
Sorry, I'm not going to really add anything at this point. I think Linda said pretty much everything that I would say. I agree with everything she said. This is overwhelming, this historic structure. It isn't responsive to the comments that have been made over the last 3 years.
All right. Was there someone else that wanted to speak?
I think Jay Maroney's up here somewhere.
Yeah, I'm still here, and in the interest of time, I'll just also reiterate along Sarah's lines that, you know, these responses are not particularly responsive to what you guys have asked for years now. We're just dragging this out, hoping to be bludgeoned into submission, and we'll hold the rest of our comments for HTC, but we encourage, you know, as continued disagreement with the plans for this very historic area of the town. Thank you.
Brooke, I also wanted to reiterate, you all can't see them, but your past comments from HSAB have been pretty consistent. Go south, don't keep coming down the hill, overwhelms the original structure. And that's pretty much what you guys have said almost every time with varying degrees of more detail.
Okay. All right. Who would like to speak first?
I'll go.
Angus? Oh, Mickey? All right.
Sure. I mean, it's pretty clear that they haven't made any effort to conform really with, you know, we can't talk about the window details and even the grading and the lighting until they've addressed the massing concerns on this building, and they're still submitting the same drawings that they've submitted from the beginning, which the massing is completely inappropriate, adding that secondary gable on the north side and connecting it with a connector is sort of a non-starter. So I think they have to fix that, fix the massing, make it much simpler, smaller. They're just trying to put too much into this building, too much program in it. And there's no point in picking at the details until they've addressed the bigger issues. That's all.
All right. Angus?
I agree. It really is a massing issue. This is premature to really look at the details. The addition, it does overwhelm the original structure and the whole feeling along Stone Alley.
All right. Is Lucy back?
No.
No. All right, so it's just the three of us?
Yeah.
All right. All right, well, I certainly agree that, the massing could move south, as we have said in the past. That looks like there's plenty of room for it to do so, and they would still have plenty of yard for the grandchildren. I think, I certainly agree with what's been said. And if it hasn't changed that much, I don't know why it keeps coming back like this. One thing I will say that I appreciate is that between the first wave of drawings and this wave is that we're finally looking at real drawings and not the chicken scratch that have been brought in for 3 years in a row. So thank you for that. And I guess that's it for now. Anybody have anything else they'd like to add?
Yeah, Brooke, I'd just like to say that we're not opposed to alterations in the entirety. We're not opposed to additions to make it more livable because it is a very tight space. We're opposed to this as a solution.
Yeah, it could come south. It could step down a little bit. I'm a little concerned also about the dormers on the back. It seems that the ceiling height, they're trying to get a 9-foot ceiling height in there when they could have an 8-foot ceiling height, and that would help bring that back mass down a little bit, maybe by a foot even. So,
If I could,
maybe that's
we did address that. We did do that. It's down as far as it possibly can go. And it's
okay.
not-
All right.
it's
So,
not
so,
9
so the dimension lines on the plan were a little confusing to me. You got 50 feet 4 and 40 feet 8, and that's 10-foot separation minus 12. That's a 9-foot ceiling. So I just wanted to point that out. I mean, you could go down to like a 7-foot 6-inch ceiling and still be legal. So
On the second floor you're talking about, right?
well, on the first floor, which would bring the second floor down, and maybe make those back shed dormers a little more attractive too.
Okay.
So, all right. Anything else?
Oh, I just want to, if we're commenting on where this hopefully will go in the future, I mean, it could be a bit of a broken record, but I feel like the addition does need to shift more to the south, and anything that goes to the east, I feel like it wants to drop a level. We can't keep the same living level as we go out and down the hill. I think that's what feels overwhelming. So, with each step towards the water and towards the east, I think it needs to come down a story.
And there's no reason why you couldn't keep that little bay that exists in the backyard. I mean, you could build into that, can't you? I mean, it's one of the most charming parts of it.
Are you talking about the sunroom?
Yeah, the south elevation. I mean,
And it's original to the building.
Yeah, you could absorb that into the design, no problem.
Well, I feel like they've replicated it. We're repurposing all of those windows.
Yeah, it's a replication. It's not original. So, I mean, but it's right there, and it doesn't stick out that far. So it certainly doesn't take up the yard.
Right.
But anyway,
if I could comment on a couple things that Linda brought up, is that okay?
sure thing. I mean, we are a narrative board after all. So, I mean, if you're looking to sway, we're going to have opinions, but we're not a voting board, just a reminder.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to address that existing photos of the grade and a topographic survey plan of the grade has been submitted and is in the file and available digitally, I assume, to all of you. And that is the proper grade that you're seeing on these plans. It's, I know Linda said she didn't think it was, but there are photos showing how drastically the grade changes, where those stone walls are and stuff are.
Okay. Thank you, Tori.
Yep. Thanks, you guys.
All right. So I'd like to close this meeting. Any objections?
Just need a motion to approve all your comments.
Yep. Okay. Someone want to make that motion?
Can I ask a question?
No. Okay.
Sorry, are we skipping? What are we doing with the landscape? Are we?
Oh,
That's
right.
Should probably
Hardscape.
hold the landscape.
That's up to you all.
There's no point to review it
Okay.
just yet.
All right. Angus, are you in agreement with Mickey?
I would hold the landscape till we have the building figured out.
Okay. As am I.
So Holly, does that mean that does the HDC only decide if it tracks with the addition, or?
Right. Yeah. HDC will decide that, but
Okay.
They'll
that's how
decide that.
we're
I'll let
treating
them
this
know.
right now.
I'll let them know that was what HSAB wanted to do is not
Okay.
provide comments because they want to track with it. So
Okay, great.
But they'll want it back before it goes anywhere.
correct.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Motion
All right.
for your comments.
Angus, would you make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve our comments.
Mr. Rowland?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
You got to do roll call.
Oh, thank you. Angus, are you in favor of your motion?
Aye.
Mickey, are you in favor of Angus, of your second?
Yes, I am.
All right, we're all in favor.
All
All
right,
right.
at 2:25, you need to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Thanks, guys.
second.
Wait, you got it. You got to do a roll call on that too.
And roll call.
Thank you. Angus, would you like to make a motion to adjourn?
I think I did.
You did.
Okay.
Second.
All right, Mickey Rowland seconds that. Chair agrees and motion is adjourned. Not motion, meeting is adjourned.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
All right.
Thank you.